Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pocono. And in these Cadillacs on Thursday nights, we're almost done here in qualifying. We look like Greg Ruark is on pole right now, and John Janu qualifying second. He had a good, fast car last week. John Houston is in third. We're going to go through the grid a bit later. Let's go look at some track stats. So, it's an oval. It's about 2.5 miles. Pocono is one of the only tracks that you'll see with only 3 turns. Yes, and I said 3. And it's a very unique track. It's hard to drive, but these guys are always good to put on a good show. Track temp right now is about 77 degrees. That's a good temp. And it's in Long Pong. Long Pong straightaway is actually one of the straightaways here, they call it. And it is obviously in the U.S. Look at the weather. Like we said, air temperature is 77 degrees. The wind direction going north, wind speed 2 miles per hour, so it's going to push those drivers down that front stretch. Not a lot of humidity here or fog. It's a bit cloudy. I don't really see too much clouds out there. So let's go to the race summary. Well, we can't do that yet, but it is a 100, and I think it's a 65 lap race here. And it should be a good one. It's a beautiful track too, so yeah, I'm excited to get this race underway. Just 1 minute left qualifying, and Greg Ruark looking good with that time. So last week we saw our very own Vern Bradley win it. I believe he dominated the race. So that's always good for our good friend Vern. And just a reminder now, don't forget to vote for the driver of the day. We'll make sure to interview him at the end. We don't have a big field here, but it don't matter. Got about 44 seconds till this race kicks off. You see all the fans are ready to go. We're ready to go here in WFO. And it should be an exciting one to watch. Cadillacs at ovals, you don't see them really that much at ovals. Probably one of the only leagues that do them, and I really don't know why, because it's such great racing. Drivers, I've never really driven them at ovals, but the drivers say they are really, really fun to drive. So this should be a really, really fun broadcast tonight as we're heading towards the grid. This is a pretty big track for caution laps. They're going to take a while. Hopefully we don't have too many of them. But John Sanu, I mean, this guy has, I think he has 42 career starts. He has 1 win. And I believe his 1 win came here, actually, at Pocono. So this should be interesting. Let's go to the grid. So, we got Gregory Ruark on our pole on his outside. We have John Sanu. John Sanu going to be looking to put in a good running here. On his outside, in row 3, we have John Houston. He looked fast here in practice. He should be up there. On his outside, we have George Young in that number 78 machine. Behind them, we got Matthew Tallman and Hal Amy. Hal Amy, 1 career win in the WFO series, came at home, I believe Homestead in the K&N series. He's always hungry. He's always here. He should have a good running if he can keep that car clean. Steve K. Blankenship starting 7th in that number 8 machine. He is the defending K&N champion, and he's looking fast here. Keep eyes on him. Kyle Murphy, a rookie here in the WFO series, making his 4th career start, I believe, and he's just out here to learn. Don't expect him to be up front, but you never know. Behind them, we got David Mayhem Moody. Moody is starting 9th. He had a great run at Dover in the K&N going for him until he got wrecked out, and I believe he had a good finish in the trucks. So he didn't get too much practice here, but he don't need practice. And then starting behind him, we got Hal Amy. the third, not Hal Amy Sr. Hal Amy the third making one of his first starts, not his first, but one of them. It could be his first in this Cadillac Series, I'm not sure. He is not there yet talent-wise, but I see a lot of potential in him. I think this time next season he might be competing for wins. You see glimpses of it. I think he just has to work on the consistency, but he's very talented. He just needs to make sure he stays consistent, and that is going to round out our field here at Daytona. Gregory Ruark got the pole, so this should be a very, very cool race. We're going to see that's going to be the back camera we're going to be seeing tonight. We see that hood camera of Gregory Ruark. Gregory Ruark, this is what his favorite track is Pocono. Also, another one of his favorite tracks are Indy. He's fast here at Pocono. He just knows how to do it. The one thing I've figured out by going back and watching broadcasts on this guy when I was practicing for Pocono is his lap times do not fall off. He's very consistent. He might not be the fastest car on the short run, but he will be the fastest car on that long run. Look for Gregory Ruark to have a strong day here today. See on our helmet cam, we're going to be using that a bit. This is what the drivers are seeing. And that is the gearbox cam. We'll be definitely going back to that, but we're about to go green here in the WFO series. We got 10 people starting this thing as the sun is starting to go down. And this track is old Pocono, so it does not have it does not have lights. So we're gonna see these headlights pop on pretty soon here as we go into turn 3. Remember, this track only has 3 turns. Gregory Ruark has been fast here all practice. He got the pole. He's had wins here. I believe he won the Truck Series or K&N. I know he has 2 career wins. So this should be interesting as he brings us to the green. Green flags in there. We're racing at Pocono. John Sanu, Gregory Ruark are going to power down this front straightaway. John Houston's going to push him back past John Sanu. Look at them just fan out as they go down into turn 1. John Houston looking for the lead on the inside. Gregory Ruark is going to yield it to him, but he's going to fight back here on exit. He's going to put that Porsche, or Cadillac, sorry, on that outside of him. They're side by side. Big pack racing. Johnson new side drafting a bit. I mean, my mistake. John Houston side drafting a bit. You see these cars just racing very, very hard, but also conservative at the same time here. So this should be a fun race. We're going to go on board with John Sanu. This is one of my favorite cams. Look at him get that run. And with the draft, he's going to look low on John Houston. It looks like they're downshifting here. Gregory Ruark already out to the lead, but John Houston's in Gregory Ruark's draft, so he's going to suck up. Now you're going to see them dive down into turns 1 and 1, actually. John Houston seems like he's got a bit better of a corner, but with that drafted, John Sanu, oh, he's going to get the run on exit. He's going to side draft a bit. You're going to see these guys power down that front stretch, or mid stretch, I don't even know what to call it. Here they go into turns 2. Gregory Ruark looking for a lead. As you see Vern Bradley coming into the picture now. He's going to make his way under John Sanu. Could he possibly get the lead? He is our last week's winner here. He almost won the first race, but I believe Steve K. Blankenship got him here on the not here, but at Daytona. But look at John Sanu pushing John Houston down that front stretch. The draft's definitely going to play a big factor here. It's almost like the new Cup cars a bit with the less downforce. You kind of can't get away from the driver ahead, so this should play out for an awesome finish. You're going to see John Sanu this is where the race at is, ladies and gentlemen. We got a 4-5 car battle for that lead. You see Matthew Tallman having a good run. He's just sitting back there as Vern Bradley looks low on John Sanu. He wiggles the car a bit on entry, but look how close they go. They don't touch though. Vern Bradley trying to get back into that draft. John Sanu has the advantage. Here comes Vern Bradley. He's going to clear him into turn 3. We've only completed 3 laps, and Vern's already made his way through this field. John Houston is his next target. We're going to go on board with that 14 machine. You see him pass. He's going to try passing John Houston, and he's going to try getting Gregory Ruark in the same lap. Can he do it? You're going to see them battling. Oh, contact it almost looked like. This is Vern Bradley as he takes the lead. This is what he sees behind him in his mirror. You see he's going to pull them down the front backstretch. But he still has a car to his outside. You see him just trying to be consistent as he clears Gregory Ruark. He's going to try driving it away now. He's driven through this field. He's probably the championship favorite if you had to ask me. And it looks like Matthew Tallman gets high. And Vern Bradley to the lead. And that's very impressive. He's able to drive through the pack and get to this lead. But the race is still on up front. It should be very interesting to see if Vern Bradley can pull away with that drive. We know how fast Gregory Ruark is. And the pack's still pretty close together. Gregory Ruark's going to suck up. He seems to have a bit of a damage on that right side of his spoiler. Or whatever the heck you call it. As they power down the backstretch, it looks like we have a 3-car breakaway for the lead. Vern Bradley trying to hold off Greg Ruark. We're on lap 5 of 65. Here we go into turns 2. Gregory Ruark is going to suck up right to Vern Bradley. Vern Bradley with a better corner is going to pull away. But now Gregory Ruark with that draft is going to suck right back up. Now, guys, the straightaway into 3 is not the problem for Vern Bradley. It's a straightaway. It's the front stretch. It's the biggest straightaway. He needs to make sure he gets a really good corner exit here because Gregory Ruark is coming and coming quick. You see Gregory Ruark's just going to suck right up to Vern Bradley, but he cannot get past him. John Sainu is behind them. And you see how much they pulled. You know, once you lose that draft on the car ahead of you, it is a massive, massive disadvantage. We're going to go on board with Gregory Ruark. See how close he gets to Vern Bradley into the corner. But Vern Bradley's pulling them off the exit. But I want you guys to see on this front stretch how much time Vern Bradley cannot help but lose because of the draft. You see Gregory Ruark's in a downshift. He's going to let that car rotate and back onto the gas. Vern beats him back onto the gas as he drives it through the bumps all the way up by that wall. Now here comes the draft. You're going to see Vern starting to get a little bit bigger and bigger. Gregory Ruark is trying to suck up. You see him starting to suck up right now. We're on lap 7, ladies and gentlemen. Look, he probably gained at least 2 car lengths. Vern Bradley's just able to get the car rotating a bit better, it looks like. But Gregory Ruark got a good corner there. Let's go on board with the back of Vern Bradley's car as we see a miracle of John Sainu and Gregory Ruark. Gregory Ruark is just, I think that damage on that right rear of the spoiler is really affecting him in a negative way. I think Vern might be the fastest car here, but I think Greg is a bit faster than what we're seeing right now. See him fan out here. We're gonna go back in the pack to Hal Amy. You see him; he's in an area of his own. Let's go check out our boy David Moody in that Coca-Cola machine. He's around nobody too. So yeah. No caution yet, so this has been a pretty good green flag run. See Steve K. Blankenship. He won the first ever race here. But let's go up to Garrett Hemlinger. Garrett trying to get past that Hal Amy machine. Hal Amy gonna look low on the Garrett Hemlinger is trying to get past and look at those red wheels. The question is, can Garrett Hemlinger get past, and how and where? Where's the best place to pass here? I don't know. We're going to have to find out. Garrett Hemlinger looks like he had a cleaner exit. He's trying to get into Hal Amy's draft. Look at him suck up on that front stretch. Only about a car length lead. And he's going to look low here into 1. Here we go, side by side racing into 1. Hal Amy looks like he's just going to give it to him. He's going to run that higher lane. He's going to try getting that run on exit. Hal Amy surging ahead. Garrett Hemlinger going to try getting in that draft again. He's going to try to get below Hal Amy. The question is, can he do it? Great racing back here. Garrett Hemlinger, he looked low in 1, could not pull off the move. Hal Amy almost into the grass. And he's still, here comes Garrett Hemlinger on the inside of Hal Amy. He's going to drive it in deep to turn 3. And while they're racing, Steve K. Blankenship comes into the picture. Garrett Hemlinger is going to clear Hal Amy. Now here comes Steve. Steve K. Blankenship. He got a bit loose there, it looks like. Let's head back up to our leaders. Gregory Ruark, Vernon Bradley, and John Snew all in this lead draft. And John Snew's a very talented driver, but I don't think we've seen him this competitive in any other series so far. I think this Cadillac really works with his driving style. And hopefully he can get a win here in this Cadillac series. Vernon Bradley is the person to beat. Gregory Ruark trying to stay with that draft. Once you lose that draft, Vernon Bradley's going to start pulling away. Lap 10 of 65 as we go down the front straightaway for the 11th time. John Snew's starting to fade back a bit, but Gregory Ruark, is he going to look low? He is one of those patient drivers. Does not look like he's trying to pass Vern right now. I think he's just trying to sit behind Vern right now. But look at that corner. That was a very good corner by both of them. John Snew is starting to fall back from this lead pack. Gregory Ruark trying to just to stay with Vernon Bradley. Vernon Bradley, even with that disadvantage with Gregory Ruark in his mirror with that draft, is not doing anything. Remember, Sky Racing is one of those teams that we have a lot of entries with. John Snew and Gregory Ruark both drive for Sky Racing. Gregory Ruark in that 23 machine. Have not seen him in that team number yet. We've seen that guy in the 48. And this has all been green flag racing so far. John Snew is trying to hang on, but look at all these cars. We're going to go back. David Moody in a world of his own. Let's go back to see where Kyle Murphy is driving in 10th position. He's just trying to run laps and learn how these cars work. But let's go back to Steve K. Blankenship and George Young. George Young, we haven't talked about him all day. Trying to catch Steve K. Blankenship. You see Garrett Hemlinger. Steve is in that 7th. George Young wants that 7th place position. The question is he going to be able to get it? We're going to go back up to that lead battle as it gets tight into 1. These guys are all driving single file. The question is, how can they get around Vernon Bradley? Vernon Bradley's led most of the race so far. The question is, will he lead the last lap? Only lap 13 of 65, and it's been green all the way. The question now is, when are we going to see green flag pit stops, and who is going to come down first? I'm very impressed with that 86 performance. John Snew, great guy. He's on the top 10 for most starts ever in this league. He has 1 win. I believe he has 42 career starts. And so, I think he's improved a lot since he's joined the league, but I've never seen him be this competitive. That's not bashing him. It's just how good Gregory Ruark is here at Pocono and how good Vernon Bradley is just in general, they're hard to keep up with. They're very talented. John saying he's starting to fall back once I started talking about him. Let's go back on that helmet. Let's go back on that hood cam of Gregory Ruark. I really don't think he's trying to pass. See, they're going to use the brake on entry to get the car to turn, and they're going to drive right up by that wall. But Gregory Ruark, he's going to get a small run here, and if he really wanted to, he could probably look low, but he doesn't. He just chucks up behind Vern Bradley. He's going to downshift, and looks like he beats Vern back onto the gas, but had to get out of it a bit, getting a bit tight. Vern Bradley's going to pull him here on the straightaway, but with that draft, it's going to keep him in. 15 laps into this showing tonight. John Houston 3 seconds back. I thought he would be a bit more competitive tonight. He might have a bit of damage we might have missed. Look at Gregory Ruark just go right to the back of Vern Bradley's bumper. Will we see him look low? Look how close to get to the wall. Will he look low? That's the question now. No, he won't. Looks like he's going to push Vern. He has no interest in passing Vern Bradley right now. Let's go back to John Sainu, who's watching this ahead of him. And all these guys are veterans. Gregory Ruark, he's not a guy who's going to be aggressive in the early stages. He's very conservative. And so is his teammate at Sky Racing, John Sainu. That's how they roll there. So, John Sainu, he might have eaten up his tires here a bit, but the track is starting to cool down as that sun goes down. So, the car's going to drive a bit different at night here. It's going to be harder to drive the car because there's no lights on this track. So as the track gets darker, you kind of just have to guess where the corner is. You're going to be able to see it, but you're not going to be able to see it as quickly. So that is the problem here. But great racing all through that field. We're going to go back to George Young. They're still battling back here for 6 with Garrett Hemlinger and Steve K. Blankenship. See, Steve's going to get right on that apron a bit. But just look how big this track is. Let's just go to our blimp cam real quick. And you just see how big this track is. It's very, very incredible how big this track is. You see all the grandstands here on this front straightaway. And you see they're dropping low. And the reason Steve K. Blankenship's dropping low is because Garrett Hemlinger's dropping low at the top right of your screen. But George Young has to follow him because the draft is so key here. Gregory Ruark is still in second place. Very good racing. Steve K. Blankenship and George Young are going to battle it out. We're going to keep our eyes right on them. And it looks like ATVO is having an error right now. So let's see if we can get that. Sorry for this, just gotta load that theme back up. It's giving me a bit of issue right now. Just gonna go to that WFO broadcast. I'll have to apologize for the technical issues here tonight. ATVO had an error, so nothing I can do about that. Don't know why it's not working. So yes, I'd like to apologize for that. It is not working, so we're gonna have to try fixing that under caution. But let's go back up here for the battle for the lead, as the leaders are starting to catch lap traffic. Lap traffic looks to be, I believe it is Matthew Tallman. Yes, it is Matthew Tallman. So Matthew Tallman, let's see if he's going to fight to stay back on this lead lap or not. It should be interesting. Remember, my apologies. So remember to vote for your driver of the day. We will get that interview at the end of the race. We've had a green flag, all green flags so far. I apologize for that. We've had a green flag race so far, but here comes Vern Bradley on lap traffic, and he's going to power level right around Matthew Tallman, and he's actually stretched his lead on Gregory Ruark out of that draft. Let's see if this lapper is going to help Gregory Ruark catch Vern Bradley or not. Gregory Ruark had many opportunities to pass Vern Bradley. Should be interesting to see if he's going to regret it now. We see Matthew Tallman just dropping in behind Vern Bradley with that draft. That's going to help Gregory Ruark suck back up. As Pocono starts to get darker, we're still racing. And as the battle for the lead is starting to shape up, remember that second place car is in a lap down. What the... I apologize for that. I'm gonna get that fixed up this weekend. Aaron Bradley looks like there's a bit of right side damage on Greg Ruark. That's why he's having that issue with catching Vern. He might have knocked down the wall bits to get that gap to open up. But that lap traffic, I think, put Greg Ruark back in this race after headlights turned on, which is pretty cool. So Vern Bradley trying to stretch that lead as we hit lap 22 of 65. Great racing all through the field. Let's go back through the field and let's go. So we see John Houston. He's got a bit of a gap to Garrett Hemlinger, who's behind him in that 5th position. Garrett Hemlinger having a good showing, as he usually does. He was fast at Dover, just was not able to get the job done. I think he had a top 5, top 10 car in the K&N, and then got caught up in a late wreck. So that's unfortunate for him. Let's go a little bit farther back in 6th position to Steve K. Blankenship. Steve is on an island of his own as well. And this thing might go green the entire way. I mean, we're on lap 23 at 65. I apologize for the overlay. It's not working. But I think we're going to go green. I mean, everyone's spread out. There's not a lot of cars. It's a humongous track. I think the better question is, how many people finish on the lead lap with that Vern Bradley in the lead, and will they have to pit? Let's go back farther to Hal Amy. Hal Amy having a good run in 7th. He is driving that bottom, and you guys have to downshift here. So if a driver's not downshifting, he's probably back in the back of the pack. Let's go back to a guy who I actually met. I met all these guys, but I had the pleasure of meeting recently, Kyle Murphy. Vern's helped him out of USA International, and just over the course of the last 2 weeks since he's joined this league, I think he's got a lot better. He's just trying to run all laps. He's trying to get that machine in a one piece to the finish line. And I think he's getting better, because if you're out running George Young, you're doing something right. George Young, one of the better drivers in this league, one of the cleaner guys. You can race him hard, and he will not wreck you. So George Young not having a good day back in 9th for him. going to go a bit farther back to Matthew Tolman, who is right behind the leaders, as the leaders actually coming up to the lap. I believe George Young for the second time. Matthew Tolman is 1 lap down. George Young is at the tail end of the lead lap. And let's go back to David Mayhem Moody. He's 1 lap down. He's already pitted though, so maybe he's trying to short pit. Who knows? As he gets into the wall a bit, he'll get that thing fired back up. And let's go to the tail end of the field with Hal Amy III just trying to run all these laps. He's kind of one of the Kyle Murphy. He's kind of like one of those guys. He's just trying to gain experience. He's trying to be better for later in his iRacing career. Right now, he knows he doesn't have the speed to win. He's just going to get out of the guy's ways and use this as a practice. He's going to learn from this. And hopefully by the end of the season, we'll see that 11 machine in victory lane or competing for top 5s. Johnson New is our leader, as it looks like Ron Bradley pitted. We must have missed that. So John Sanu takes the lead as Steve K. Blankenship looks high on him. And here comes, I don't know who just pitted, but John Sanu has the lead currently. Let's go on board with that machine. We're going to go on the helmet cam. We haven't used this cam yet today. And look how dirty that windshield is. You're going to see he's going to try keeping this car all the way up by that wall. As he comes into turn 2, look how fast he's going down this front straightaway. No, back straightaway technically. You know what I've noticed? I did not hear a downshift there. I'm pretty sure Brian Bradley was downshifting. I could be wrong. I know he was downshifting in turn 3. Let's see if Johnson knew downshift. I do not think I heard a downshift. Whoa, it looks like he's... Yeah, here comes Johnson New into the pits. We're going to take this one on with the helmet cam. He's going to get that car slowed down to pit road speed. Good pit road entry. He's going to keep that car all the way to the right until he sees his box. And crew chief's going to say, now. He's going to turn left and he's going to pit that car. So let's see him pit this car. The pit stop's going to take a little longer. It's John Sane who dives into his box. See, the car's going to get raised up. He's going to put the car down in first gear, so when he leaves, he's already ready to go. And right now, they're just filling up gas, putting tires on. These Cadillacs take a bit of a while to... It looks like he can't get the car off. Now there he goes. He's going to gas that car off. Let's see where he came off. Looks like he's going to come out right behind Vern Bradley and Gregory Ruark, the people who are battling for this lead right now. Look at Vern Bradley and Gregory Ruark. Yeah, I think Greg got his damage fixed, so he should be fast right now. These cars are a bit dirty, but Gregory Ruark and Vern Bradley have definitely been the 2 fastest cars here all day. Vern Bradley trying to go back to back. And I think he might have won Daytona too. I can't remember. But Gregory Ruark, he needs to get to... Oh, he hits the wall once again. That's not going to be good for Gregory Ruark. The difference between Gregory Ruark and Vern Bradley is Vern Bradley was able to keep that car clean. Let's go on that geocam with our very own Gregory Ruark. You see, he had to lift a bit there with that damage. It certainly ain't going to help him. He's going to try keeping that car right behind Vern Bradley so he can get the maximum run he can on that front stretch. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on lap 27. Oh, wait, no. I do not know what lap we're on. My apologies. No, I believe we're coming to lap 20. Yep, we're on lap 28. So they went about 25 laps on fuel. So they're definitely going to have to pit again. It's going to be interesting to see when and who comes down pit road. I just love these in-car cams. Well, let's go farther back into the field. We haven't really talked about John Houston all day, as he's going to try running down John Sanu. Look how close John Houston gets to that wall. He's a veteran driver. He knows what he's doing. What veteran drivers do best than anyone, in my opinion, is what rookie. Well, there's people who have raw talent in iRacing. They can go fast right off the bat, but if you can't be consistent, you ain't gonna go very far. You gotta be consistent. It does not matter who leads lap one; it only matters who leads the last one. So, see, John just looks like John Houston is being a bit more steady with that steering wheel. He's not swerving too much, and I think he's starting to catch John Sanu. We're gonna go on the nose cam, and we're gonna see all these bumps. You're gonna see him just. It looks like John Sanu has a bit of right spoiler damage. But look at this run John Houston gets with this draft. The question is, will he look low? John Sanu leaves a bit of a hole. He's going to cover it up on exit. Here comes John Houston to try to get back past John Sanu for third. Here comes John Houston. He's going to fire it down deep into that corner. John Sanu's going to drive it in deeper, though. Here we go, down the front straight away. Who is going to get past who? Can John Sanu hold off John Houston? It's the John and John show as we hit lap 31. John Houston, John Sanu going back and forward. Let's see if John Houston can get the run. He's right on him. He's right on him. He's there. He is there. John Sanu's going to come down and cut him off a bit. As John Houston blinks a bit, don't matter. John Houston's going to use that draft to his advantage. He's going to get those RPMs as far up as he can. See John Houston. This is a race on track to be watching right now. John Houston trying to get past John Sanu as he's having a bit of an internet connection, unfortunately. John Houston, if he's going to try driving it underneath him. He wanted to disrupt that exit, but it looks like John Houston just cannot get there at the moment. John Sanu holding off John Houston, but John Houston is in that draft and he's going to get the run down the front straightaway as we hit lap 32. John Houston and John Sanu going back and forward. It's a John show into turn 1. John Sanu, you see, runs a bit of a higher line and gets a run on extra as John Houston gains his time in the middle of the corner, but John Houston really relies on that draft. The line that John Houston's running would not work if these cars did not suck up. So I think John Houston looks low into turn 2. John Sanu's not going to give him a bunch of trouble, but he's still going to race him. John Sanu just got passed by John Houston. Does he have anything left in the tank to battle back? Here comes John Sanu into turn 3. John Sanu, he runs that bit of a higher line. He might be trying to get a run on the exit of the corner. Here comes John Sanu. Looks like he got a great run off exit. The question is, will he get there into turns 1? Look how close he is. He pushes John Houston now. He does not want to pass him. He does not. He just wants to stay where he is. He knows there's over 30 laps left in this race. He's just going to let John Houston go. Maybe burn up his stuff and get past him later. John Houston into third. Back up on the farm with Gregory Ruark and Vern Bradley. Vern Bradley has extended his lead by a lot. See David Mayhem Moody right between those two front runners. And Vern Bradley, I don't see a scratch in that car. I don't know about you guys. So in case if anyone ever wants to rewatch this broadcast for next season, if we come here, we're going to go on board with Vern Bradley just to see the lane he runs around here and see how he's going so fast. So we're going to take one lap or two with Vern Bradley with that WFO car. So you're going to see Vern Bradley all the way up by that wall and he's going to dive it down into turn 1. He's going to arc it down, so he's going to get a run on exit. So you see how he entered in the second lane, drove it down to the first lane, got back on the gas, and you're right back up next to that wall. You want it to, the less you can turn that wheel, the better. You go faster, and you save the tires in turn 2. The Indy turn here. Let's see what he does into it. He's going to turn down a bit late so he can get that runoff exit. And look how close he gets to the grass. I mean, it's hard to do, and some people will never be able to do it. So he's going to drive right on that seam. He's going to put the car right between that seam. You see his right front. The lowest he got was his right front on that seam. As we see lap traffic going low. We're going to take one more lap for Vern Bradley. As Vern Bradley right on this high side. We're going to go on the helmet cam, though, to see from his point of view. On the helmet cam, he's going to drive it in. He's not really killing the tires. He's not doing anything. He has the fastest car. There's no reason. Vern Bradley, the one thing I really took away from him, well, I've taken like a lot of things away. Not stolen, but like knowledge. Practice helps a lot. I remember one time in Michigan, I thought I was fast, and I was the second fastest car on the short run. It was my rookie year, and Vern Bradley, he practiced. He probably would have beat me anyway, but he practiced, and he whooped the field. I mean, he was almost playing with me. Like, I'd be killing my tires, and he'd be saving his, and I'd barely be able to keep up with him, and he would still be pulling away from me. So, yeah. So that's what I've been trying to do this season, is practice. You see Vern Bradley, that line he runs is very consistent. And what I said earlier in the broadcast, it matters the line you run around here. It matters how much experience you have. Veteran drivers, that knowledge can bring you a far way. And that's one of the reasons Vern Bradley is up in the front. 25 years of sim racing. We're going to go back on board Amy Howe not having the day he wanted to have in 9th place. And looks like he has pitted once. And I believe he's still on that lead lap. See how he's running lower than Vern Bradley and having to get off the gas a bit more? See, that's the problem. I just watch the differences between these two drivers' laps. Big differences, and you can tell on track. Hallamy's still this field is just very competitive. Hallamy just not having a good night back in 9th. 9th place is still a good night, but with how I don't know. In the K&N truck, if we were here, I would expect him to be quick. He's always been kind of quick here in those cars, so it should be interesting. He is going to give all of us a run for our money with that K&N championship and even the truck. So let's go off this inboard camera. We might see this thing go caution free. Can you believe that? See that Amy contracting car, that black car, that's what he usually runs, is a black car. We're going to go back up to the lead. Looks like something happened to Gregory Ruar because he's in 4th. Oh, he came down pit road. Think he can make it from now 37 laps into a 65 lap race. He's going to bring that car down pit road. It looks like he got into the wall one too many times. And, oh, he didn't get into pit stall. I don't think he had to quick repair either. I think he already used that. So Gregory Ruar, one of the greats here at Pocono. Day is starting to go south, but John Houston and John Sanu still right on top of each other. But then you have to go 5 seconds. Yes, 5 seconds back up to Vern Bradley. I don't even think we can get these guys in the same camera. Vern Bradley is so far ahead of these guys. You guys can't even get them in the same camera, and that's a lot. You might be able to see Vern if in turn 1, maybe. But I don't know. Remember remember people who are watching. Vote for the driver of the day. We'll interview him after the race. And look at John Houston and John Sanu battle for that position. John Sanu going to power back and get second place. But John Houston isn't done. He looks low on John Sanu. Down that back straightaway. Here we come into two. Side-by-side racing. Oh, about a foot between both of them. You're going to see John Houston get that low lane, but John Sanu is going to get on that high side. Let's see if he can get a run on exit. He gets a run on exit. He goes right up to the back of John Houston, and he's just going to push him. He's going to push him. We saw this before. It looks like he's trying to be conservative, but he runs right on that higher line here. Let's see if he can get that run off exit that he's been able to do all night off of 3. Here comes John Sanu down the front straightaway. It's a John show as we hit lap 39. John Sanu looks low. John Houston on the high side. John Sanu on the bottom. Here we go. We're going to dive into turns 1 and 1. John Sanu going to get that run off exit. He's going to power down that backstretch, but the draft's a big key. John Houston pushing John Sanu now. Look at those cars wiggle. John Houston all over John Sanu. Here we go into turn 2 for the 40th time today. John Sanu pulling away, but John Houston's not going to let him get too far. Look how close John Houston gets to that wall. John Sanu's going to power it down into turn 3. He's going to run a bit of a higher line. You see John Houston's a bit lower as he sucks up. But now John Sanu's going to get that run on exit. And John Sanu, I'll tell you, he has impressed me tonight. He's being really fast as he looks low. I think he's just trying to not let John Houston get his draft. And while these two are battling, Vern Bradley's up to a 6.5 second lead. Unbelievable performance by him. I was expecting him and Greg to go back and forth all day, kind of like how John Sanu and John Houston are right now. But Greg had some issues, and Vern's just class of field right now. Greg Rourke is back out in 8th position, but this is where the race is. Let's go on board with John Houston. Probably my favorite camera on iRacing. Look at this. He's gonna try getting. Now he's gonna look. No, he's gonna get off the gas. He almost turned him. Look how nice that 86 machine looks. See how John Houston drives in a bit, like down more of the track. And look at that run. John Sanu's gonna get on exit. But John Houston's in that draft. Question was, remember last time we saw John Sanu look low, but look how much he's gaining on this front stretch as they're going to approach lap traffic later in this race. Will that play a factor with this draft? John Houston all over John Sanu. Who gets back onto the gas first? John Sanu does. But John Houston has that draft advantage. He is going to try to look low, possibly into turn 2. He puts the nose down there, maybe to get clean air. Here comes John Houston. John Sanu's going to come down a bit. John Houston's going to get out the gas. Let's see who is going to lead into turn 3. Remember, this is just a battle for second place. And while these guys are doing this, Vern Bradley's up to a 7.5 second lead. Unbelievable. John Houston. Remember, I think John Sanu's a bit better than him in 3. But with this draft, he's going to be able to stay with him. Look at the run he gets on John Sanu. He looks low. He looks low. It almost looked like John Sanu wasn't even on the gas. But I think John Houston drove it in deep. And with that draft advantage, look how that shot him out there. John Sanu trying to battle back now to John Houston. John Houston's going to go down low. He does not want John Sanu in his draft. But here comes John Sanu. He's still going to get the run. Let's see who gets better off 2. They're going to dive down into turn 2 just like an Indianapolis turn. John Sanu gets back on the gas at the same time. Looks like John Houston had to tap the brake on exit. That's going to hurt him, but John Sanu likes to run that higher line into turn 3. Let's see if he's going to set him up for the front stretch. He's going to get that car turned down. Back onto the gas goes John Sanu. He's almost on John Houston now. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, as we go down the front stretch. John Sanu looks low on John Houston. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're on lap 43. John Houston, John Sanu battling for second place, and as Vern Bradley's up to an 8-second lead. John Sanu's going to get that position, but here comes John Houston. He's not going to let him go. John Houston battling back on this back straightaway. Here comes John Houston. Will he look low? Yes, he will. John Houston looks low into turns 2.
But John Cheney is one of the better cars I've seen all day in turn 3. He sets himself up. Oh no, he's gonna look low. He hasn't really run this low line all day. This should be interesting. John Cheney is gonna power that car in deep, slide up a bit. Will we see the crossover move? John Houston trying to get back to John Cheney. Here he comes right on to him. Down the front straightaway for the 45th time today. John Cheney, John Houston battling. One of the battles for the ages. John Cheney, John Houston side by side. We cannot take our eyes off of this. John Cheney is going to try again the run back on exit. He's going to run that higher line and get into that draft on exit. John Cheney trying to get a run on John Houston. John Houston dips low, so he won't have the draft. But it looks like John Cheney is almost there as John Houston comes back up. There, he's right on. He's right on him into turn 2. It looks like a bit of a wiggle as he hits. John Cheney powers back to the inside. Can he get there? No, he can't. Let's see if he can set him up for that run into turn 3. John Cheney runs that high line, dives it down low. Here comes John Cheney for the 46th time today. It's a John and John show. John Cheney is going to clear John Houston. What a battle. Let's take our eyes off it real quick to go look at Vern Bradley, who's in a boat all by his own. About 9 seconds ahead of this field. Unbelievable performance by him. Let's go back to the pack. Hal Amy has been able to recover his way up to 5th. But I've seen a couple of guys who've had to pit twice, so it should be interesting to see if he's going to have to pit. And it looks like he's coming down pit road right now. So that tells me Vern Bradley, John Houston, and John Cheney are going to have to pit. But John Cheney is battling with John Houston as John Houston got back past him as we went through the field. John Cheney looks high, nothing there. He's going to get that run off of 2-3. John Houston gets high. Will he keep it up? Oh, John Houston, my apologies, is going to pit. John Cheney stays on track, and Vern Bradley is, I believe, 10 seconds, a blistering 10 seconds ahead of this field. Look at him. There's no one around him on the lead lap. Certainly no. There has not been one caution here today. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I know you can't see it. My apologies for that, but we're on lap 46. I repeat, 46 of 65. About 19 to go. Vern Bradley in his own town. Never mind. Well, yeah, zip code. He's in his own zip code as he dives down into pit road. Let's take this pit stop with him. We're gonna see him. He's gonna hold it steady. You cannot speed. He has a 10-second advantage, but if he speeds, that would be 15 seconds. Remember, he was not able to qualify, I don't believe, so he has a late pit stall behind Hal into the 3rd. That car's gonna go up. They're gonna fill it up with gas. He's gonna rev it up a bit. Not sure why he's revving it up, but he's gonna put tires on it, put fuel on it, and get back out. We're gonna welcome Greg York and Hal Amy the 3rd into the booth. You guys up here? Hey, 1 second. You guys got a copy? So you guys both had great runs today. What happened?
Yes. Yeah, it looks like Vern Bradley might have sped because he's coming back down pit road as the leader for his third stop of the day, which is going to give the lead to John Sainu. Yes, he had to stop and go. That's big. That puts Vern Bradley back to fourth as John Sainu comes down pit road. Wait, am I? Yeah, I'm on. So that's big. Yeah, definitely. Greg, we saw you had a bit of right rear damage on that spoiler early in the race. How'd that happen? Yeah, definitely. And we're coming around to hit lap 50 pretty soon here with 15 to go. Vern Bradley now out of the race, 15 seconds back from John Houston because he sped. And we got John Sanu, who has a bit newer tires than John Houston. Who do you guys have winning here now? Definitely, it looks like John Houston's actually trying to pull away a bit from John Sainu. They're about a straight away apart from each other. See John Sainu up in the top left of your screen. But John Houston's on rails. Yeah, how much do you think you have to come into the draft in order for it to work? Like, how far back do you have to be? Like what's the farthest back you have to be? Yeah, and before you hopped in that car to start this race, was there even a doubt in your mind that we might not have a caution? Yeah, it looks like John Houston, John Sanu's times are actually starting to even out. John Houston was a bit slower on that last lap. So it should be very interesting to see if John Sanu can catch him back to 3.9 seconds. Definitely, I think John Sanu's tires just got up. He ran 2/10 faster than John Houston that last lap. Yeah, I was saying earlier in the broadcast, he's a very talented driver, but we're not used to seeing him competing for wins as much as we've seen him in this Cadillac series. Yeah, I knew he had one win. He has 42 starts. 1 win. I think it's like 30 top 10s around there. I think he has 31. Yep, he lost it. So on lap 53 of 65, you think? I mean, John Sanu was a lot faster in turn 3. It seemed like he just ran a little bit higher than John Houston was, and really was able to get a run on that front stretch. Do you think that's going to play into factor as these tires wear on? What lane were you guys seeing with the grip was? 3/10 a lap will get him there. But it looks like he's starting to fade back a bit more again. Every time he gets a bit more momentum, looks like John Houston fights back. Out of these two drivers, who do you guys have winning? So where is the best place to pass on this track? Okie dokum. Looks like that lead starting to dwindle away. It's just going to be 10 laps. He's going to have to run a blistering pace in order to catch him. It's down to 3.5. So it's yeah, definitely. Do you guys think the track is more fun at night or during the day? Definitely. So overall, we were talking about that airtight. Do you think it's a more an advantage to be in front of somebody or behind somebody? Yeah, definitely. But that lead is definitely starting to go down. As we see it go down to a 2.899. Now it's a 2.7. Do you think John Houston might have killed the tires a bit too early? It's really coming down. Yeah, definitely. Do you guys think you can catch him? definitely gonna be hard to catch him. And if he even does catch him, does he pass him? Yes, definitely. John Saney was almost down into the 1 second bracket. But next time by is lap 60 of 65. I mean, even at this really fast pace, he might even have to step it up a bit more. Well, remember, yeah, as you said, within like about a second. So he really just needs to gain about 1 more second on John Houston, and the draft will do the rest. Yeah, but it looks like John Houston's trying to battle back as he opens up the lead a bit more. Yeah, the last time by, John Houston ran a 57.5, and John Saney ran a 57.7. 2.3 as we hit lap 61. The question is, can John Saney get there? Guys, it's not looking good for John Saney. He's closed the gap respectively, but I just think he's going to run out of time. Definitely. And do you think with him gaining on John Houston so quick, John Houston it could make him mess up because he might not be pressuring on track, but he's pressuring him time-wise. Definitely. If you're in John Houston's situation, do you put on that F3 key? Try now. Well, here we come. Next time by will be 2 to go. The question is, can John Saney close the gap? He's going to have to run a second faster than John Houston. So unless if anything massively goes wrong, John Sanyu will not catch John Houston. Yep, John Sanyu. John Sanyu was 2/10 slower that last time by. Here comes John Houston for one of the last times tonight into turn 3. See that Cadillac on edge, but he's keeping control of it, and he's driving it away from John Sanyu. As he crosses the start-finish line, one more time to go for John Houston. You see how close John Sanyu is. He got it down to 1.7. Will that draft kick in time? Looks like John Houston hits his marks fine into 1. John Houston is pulling away from John Sanyu as we hit the second to last turn, turn 2 at Pocono for the final time today. John Houston's going to drive it down into turn 2. Here comes John Houston. He has 5 career wins in WFO. This will make 6. He's going to drive it around the track just one more time. He just has to get through this last corner exit, and he will. He almost spins it out, but will John Sanyu get there? What the? And John Houston will win. So, good job to John Houston. As we see, he's going to burn it down. Or just get off track. So, that's going to wrap up our broadcast here today, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, we can't do interviews. I have a computer issue. So, thank you guys for coming out. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday at Michigan with the Cannon cars. See you.